brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
Live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's the premier sim racing winter series on Green Flag TV. Welcome everyone, I am Derrick Watson, sitting next to Cade, Corbin this evening with Dustin, Ollis, pushing the buttons and making us look and sound good down in a production truck. And let's get right down to the track because Heat 1 is about to get started. Let's walk you through your grid here for Heat 1. It's going to be Matt Gagnon, Nick Hunter, Nicholas Gordina, Robert Barney, Zachary Burnt, Matt Scherf, Willie Brennan, Thomas Inc., Jeff Evans, Steve Baker, and Nicholas Acosta all lined up for this first heat. So the pace car Cade is coming down the back straight. And those are the cars in this heat. We'll get the order set in a little bit here. But Cade, this is going to be very fast. It's going to be 30 laps or 8 minutes here around Charlotte in these very fast Indy cars.
Yeah, 1 lap here does not take very long at all, really no matter what kind of car you're in, but especially when you're in one of these DW-12s. I mean, we're going to get plenty of laps in here for this 8-minute sprint. So, going to be an exciting one to watch. It is Barney and Baker on the front row, your first and third place after qualifying. Pace car is going to pull down pit road, rolling through the restart zone. Barney leads us to the green flag, and we are racing here at Charlotte.
Very quickly, things kicking off. There are 3 wide on the front straight. There's a white car on the bottom. That is Thomas Sink, who thought about 3 wide and then backed out of it here. 2 wide, we're in. Thomas Sink wildly loose on the bottom of the track. It gets to the back of the field as we're 2 abreast down the back straight.
Barney able to pull off with a little bit of a lead. That's Willie Brennan looking at the bottom. Your first side-by-side battle is for second. Then it's Sheriff sitting in the 4th spot. Nearly clipped the wall. He does clip the wall. I think they're wrecking in the back.
They might be wrecking the back, but you're right. That was a big clip to the wall here. And up top, you'll see the cars of Barney and Baker up front 1 and 2. Then you got Willie Brennan back in P3. Remember, this is a very quick heat here. 30 laps or 8 minutes. The time is ticking up the board.
Barney able to hold the lead through these first couple of circuits here. With that crash in the back, the field thinned out a little bit. It's kind of a 7-horse race. 4 on the bottom, 3 up top. Baker leading that high lane car around. That is Jeff Evans able to save it though. No, he's in the wall.
No, it's got another car to hit him. That yellow and red car of Nick Hunter just crashed right into a T-bone style. They're both hurt here. Back up front through the field. This is your leaders: Robert Barney, Steve Baker, Willie Brennan, coming around this front straight yet to get to complete yet another lap at Charlotte's.
Holding strong on the bottom, but Baker and Brennan got lined up on the top. Move to the bottom. That is, that's Matt Gagnon. As we're going to have a look at the replay there. Looked like could have been contact, could have been net code, as Evans tried to save that car. Nowhere for Hunter to go. Massive contact for the 19.
Massive contact. Those guys will still advance. There's no advancement rule here, Cade. It's just about where is the final grid set for the feature. So everyone, as far as I'm aware, is going to make it through the heats. We'll take a look at that in a little bit here. New fastest lap by Matt Gagnon in the 14, setting an amazing time of 24.083.
They got a really good run down the back straightaway that last time. Right now, he's looking on the inside for the 2nd position from Brennan. Brennan in the 44. Gonna shut the door, get a good draft up to Barney here. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in this race. Barney has led every single lap since the drop of the green.
And Barney doing a great job here up front, getting all that clean air. And that's something worth talking about as this night goes on in the heats or in the feature, Cade, is how the dirty air affects these cars. Typically, Premier Sim Racing runs the trucks on Wednesday nights. They've been having some fun this winter series, but this is going to be a much different experience for some drivers because that dirty air will throw you around.
Yeah, and I think there is a little bit of a carryover between the trucks and the Indy cars, or the Dallaras here. Might seem a little bit crazy as there's contact there. Big block from Brennan. Blocking again. The car shuffled out as Matt Gagnon able to keep it in a straight line, but dirty air a huge factor in both the trucks and the DW-12s. Really interesting how that same principle can play such a role in the two different series. You're seeing it at much higher speeds here in the open wheel cars. Some sketchy moments there riding along board with Sheriff.
Yeah, look at that, 220 heading into the corner, 215 through the corner. A little faster than our NASCAR counterpoints. Oh, big ball hitting 2 cars out through the grass. They're going to go. That's going to be, oh boy, a big hit for Sheriff to Brennan. And we're going to stay green here for the moment as the track remains mostly clean. These drivers do have fast repairs, by the way, Cade. So if they can get down to pit road and get down there, they might be able to come back out and finish. Remember, where you finish here just matters to where you line up in the future. Watch the replay, and I don't know what happened there. Kind of hard to tell.
It looked like just got a little bit tight coming off the corner, bounced off the wall, and the gearbox of, I think that was the 44 car, caught the wing of the 43 and launched both of them across the grass. Like you said, some fast repairs there, so they could be able to scrape together a few positions. But at this point, you're already looking at starting that feature race outside the top 15. It's going to be a bit of a clawback in the main event for both those drivers, regardless of where they finish. But could want to save a little bit of pride here, maybe grab a couple more spots. 3.5 minutes to go. We're looking at the closest battle on track. This is Zachary Burnt leading Matt Gagnon, I believe. And yeah, this battle for the third position.
This is the battle for the podium right here on your screen, because Barney and Baker up ahead have started to pull away a little bit. But you're right, this battle right here, third and fourth, and it's Matt Gagnon, lap by lap, a little faster last time, a little slower the lap after that, so it's going to be pretty even here on the track. And I think the amazing thing right now is for Robert Barney that he has pulled away from this field in this first heat race.
Yeah, as these wrecks have happened, I'm looking at the intervals between the cars, 2 seconds from first back to second. Actually, Baker's backed up into that battle with the 28 and the 14, but that gap is big enough that the draft, not a factor for that second place car. Completely clean air for Steve Baker, and so it a little bit different than what we typically see at these high-speed ovals and open wheel cars. You just don't have that draft effect anymore. It's not a pack race, kind of a single car, single file race, a lot more similar to the truck series that we typically see here in the PSR.
Yep, so right now here we are, just about the 2.5 minute mark left on the board. Again, this is the battle for second and third. This is Freddie on the back of Steve Baker, moving back to Zachary Burnt. Remember, these guys are having fun in the Winter Series. Okay, this is every week the different car and track. It's a randomized mystery. It's a mystery until the day of the race. That's when the league members find out what the car and track is. So no trading paint, so the painters aren't worried about getting cars painted the last second. And we'll wait and see these great battles side by side through the corner. Bunch of space between them, and there goes that blue car pulling back in line here. And now we got a little bit of 4-car draft as Thomas Sink, by the way, has passed Matt Gagnon. Oh,
yeah, this could be a little bit of a dress rehearsal here as there was contact, Thomas Sink into the outside wall. A little bit of practice, competitive practice for the feature race. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty similar to the end of the main event that we're going to see coming up later tonight. You're not going to want to miss it. Could look like this. Move to the inside for Sink. Clearly no big right side damage to that car, but these guys able to try some things out basically without consequence. Sink going to lay on the throttle pedal, but keep it out of the 55 side by side with 1.5 minutes to go.
Wow, that's impressive that Sink was able to get that together and keep it off of Steve Baker's. I thought for sure some contact was about to be made, but they kept it clean. They'll keep it green, and we'll get moving here at Charlotte. And I like what you said, Cade, that this may be just a dress rehearsal, right? It may be like when people start to lay back at Daytona or Talladega in the Cup cars, and they want to see, like, how does the draft work? What can I know for later? That may be what some drivers are using this heat race for.
Yeah, just experimenting with how big the run is, how quickly that closing rate is. You see Sink right now trying out the bottom. He's going to see momentum off the top for Baker. Could have given him a run, but instead he scraped the wall, and Baker is going to lose that position to the 48. If Sink can wrap the bottom, maybe pull a little bit of a slide job here, he might get the position. Yes, clear on corner exit through the quad oval. Not quite clear, no. Side by side into turn one.
Wow, great run there for Thomas Sink. Sink had a great run last week, Cade. We ran the Pro 2 light trucks at Rudskogen, and he came home with a podium victory. So he right now would love to make it 2 for 2 back-to-back weeks on the podiums. White flag this time That's it. Only a few seconds left on the clock. 8 minutes almost done. There's your battle. First place looks to be settled. It's his battle for third and fourth. It's Sink on the inside. It's Barney on the Baker on the outside. And Watt's the leader on the bottom of your screen, Cade. But down the back straight, Sink has made the pass.
Yep, and that is going to be Sink, the third position. He'll be rolling off fifth in the main event if he can hold on to it. Looks like he is going to. Meanwhile, Robert Barney wins it from the pole. Had won that pole position, led every lap, and by virtue of winning heat number 1, will start the big show from the first position.
There you go. That's your first heat race of 2. 8 minutes has expired off the clock. Let's take a look in a moment here. We'll get our unofficial results from Heat 1, and we'll run them down here and see how they look as we get a couple last cars around the track. It's going to be Robert Barney, your winner, by over 3.5 seconds over Zachary Burnt. Thomas Sink, Steve Baker, Matt Gagnon, your top 5. And then Acosta, Godina, Scherf, Willie Brennan, and Nicholas Hunter in your top 10. That leaves both Jeff Evans last in P11. Well, you know, Cade, as we get ready for Grid 2, or Heat 2 to Grid, excuse me, let's go and thank a couple sponsors. First off, this is Premier Sim Racing. You know, you can stay connected with Premier Sim Racing by scanning the QR code. It's going to appear on your screen in just a moment to follow along on our social medias and join the official Discord channel. It is great, amazing action every Wednesday night that is here live on Green Flag TV every Wednesday for amazing, almost year-long racing action, tight battles, close friendships, and great fun to be had for all. So please do everything you can to scan that QR code. Next, let's thank Mr. Hedge. You know, Mr. Hedge, sim racing is full of unforgettable moments, and Mr. Hedge's iRacing photography can help you capture them all. From first wins to fresh deliveries, even to crashes you'll never forget, Mr. Hedge can turn virtual racing into moments worth sharing. They're clean, they're sharp, and they're made for sim racers. Visit mrhedge.co.uk for more info. And Cade, there's some pictures from last week, the Pro 2 lights at Ridgeskoke, and those are via Mr. Hedge. That was a great race last week.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, and we're gridding up for another one here. You can see the field rolling off side by side. Shout out to Mr. Hedge there. I gotta guarantee those images look a little bit better than the YouTube compression would maybe have them see. I've seen the originals there. Very crisp, very clean photography, and certainly the YouTube not doing it justice. But we're back up here. We got another race rolling off here. The field's going to take the green this time by Bradley Holly, qualified second, so he's going to roll off in the first position for this heat. Elliott White, Colton Lane, Brandon Walter the first 2 rows, Doug Evans, Steve Loving rounding out the top 6.
Back in the Ted Lowenick in P7, Richard Regan Jr., your PSR champion in P8, then Nathan Derrick in 9, and then Mark Kalin and James Morgan round out this 11 Indy car field. Ready to go racing? We are. Pace cars down. We're going around. We'll wait for the green flag. We'll step on the loud pedal, and we'll go racing at Charlotte. Cade, I wonder what this heat learned from the last one, right? I wonder what moves they saw that worked or didn't work, because there's a bit of a nick of a car that caused a 3-wide moment in the first couple of corners, and they are 3 wide heading into turn 3.
Yeah, that's something interesting whenever you have a 2 or 3 or more heat situation, is the guys that go towards the end have the opportunity to watch and take notes and learn. And I think what they saw from that first race is that attrition is a big factor. You know, yeah, the top 5 were pretty close, but everybody else was involved in some sort of incident. So I saw a lot of drivers drop off the bat kind of as soon as the green flag came out, thinking, hey, we just need to ride this one out, maybe sit in line for 5 or 6 minutes, and then go out and make our move. That's not what's happening right now.
Whoa.
Car in the wall. Richard Regan able to keep it pointed in the right line.
Yeah, him and Nathan Deering almost got together. Deering, even the Red Cross Loving, pardon me. I got to say Nathan Deering. Steve Loving is there, but there's the fastest lap being set by Brandon Walter, a 24.11 on the board. Bradley Holly's up front fighting with Elliott White, by the way. That is Holly on the bottom, and the purple and let's call it aqua, I don't know, seafoam, whatever you call it. And he's having a great battle here as he leads another lap.
He's going to take the lead. Elliott White, not the opportunity to tuck in the line. He's got Kalin at his inside. That's the 62 car. Finds himself 3 wide for the 3rd position into the outside wall. Wrecking big. That's Reagan Jr. again. Oh, one car into the fence.
Oh my gosh, who is that? That is Steve Loving, and he is having a horrible ride at Charlotte, and he's going to land top side there. We'll say green flag racing, but I'm sure the drivers have heard what happened. But up front, it's a three-car battle. It's Bradley Holly, Mark Kalin, and Elliott White, 1, 2, 3. Oh no, they're
all
three
the
wide.
way to the bottom for Kalin. The elevator move on the back straightaway. He's going to get it. Big save from Kalin. Huge save as he dirt tracked that car to keep it out of the wall. Let's ride along with Loving and see what happened to the 27.
This is going to hurt. Oh, not for the faint of heart. Well, that will be the end of heat number 2 for Steve Loving. He'll come back and be able to race in the future. He'll get a backup car ready. But up front, now a 2-car battle. Bradley Holly and Elliott White are fighting for the win.
Yeah, and I think a little bit different than Heat 1, right? The winner of this heat looks like they're going to have to win it. Or, excuse me, they're going to have to try to win it. Here's with Regan, you can see contact with the back end of the car in front and just hit by everybody there, run over by the field. Nothing he could have done.
Nothing he could have done at all. And it caused, of course, chaos ensued. Doug Evans has big wing damage and then tapped the wall again. Look at that wing in the back of that car. You see how it's just kind of bent every which way? That's going to lead some problems for him in handling of this car if he gets stuck in traffic in this race.
Back up front for the lead, White and Holly going at it. This is the 184 and the 10 car. They're going to be side by side off of turn 4, coming up on the halfway mark of this race next time by. And this is another great opportunity for these drivers to have that dress rehearsal like we talk about. If they find themselves in this position, coming to the white flag, at the end of the race in the feature, now they're going to know what to do, going to give them a leg up. Nothing for White to do right there as Holly hugged the white line all the way down the back straightaway.
Well, Holly will learn not to do is to touch that blue line again. He touched that back in the last sun through 1 and 2, and that car wiggled really, really bad. So let's see how many sticks off of that line and doesn't try it again. But then Elliott White's going to skip a little bit higher. And again, that comes from the fact, Cade, as you know from calling different IndyCar races, that even in a place like Charlotte, you just can't be behind someone in these corners. That dirty air really just kind of wants to lock up the steering and cause it to be very, very hard to turn.
Yeah, what you really want to do if you're that lead car is keep the car on the bottom. Going to be really difficult for Elliott White to make this pass on the top side. You can see he has a look and gets side by side, but the shorter distance around combined with the grip of these cars means that he's just not going to be able to make it work. But for Holly, it's not so easy as just saying, yeah, just keep it pinned on the white line. You can see that car washing up on corner exit. He's going over 210 miles an hour in a car that clearly doesn't want to handle great. A little bit of going through the grass there on the front straightaway. So the strategy a little simple for Holly, but the execution of keeping that car pinned to the white line, anything but.
Some carnage has happened in this race. You can see it is based upon the times and the intervals on the screen. You can see, it is currently a second and a half back to Mark Kalin in third. It's over 3 seconds back to the rest of the field, and there's the pass we were looking for. Elliott White got the pass done on Bradley Holly, so now that is your new leader.
Now we'll see how White does in the position of playing defense. Looking back, this is the battle between, I think, James Morgan and Nathan Deering. This is for the 5th position, and Deering kind of finding himself in a similar spot to White, where he's got to find his way around that car. Back up front, we're side by side for the lead once again.
Doing great. Here is Elliott White trying to hold the bottom. You'd be interested in how hard it is. By the way, over half this race already gone. We're down to 2.5 minutes on the board. Holly makes the pass, and Elliott White, I think Elliott White's just trying to set it up here. Elliott White wants to know, when's the last moment I can make the move? And these guys are just kind of slingshotting that lead back and forth.
They got to be careful too. They can't run side by side for too long because Mark Kalin is very fast in that 3rd position. If they get together right here and both of them have to pedal the throttle a little bit on corner exit just like that, could pose an opportunity for Kalin to sneak in this one and make it a 3-horse race. So we'll just have to see right here. Holly's got the lead, but not able to get clear once again. Has to really work that car to keep it on the inside and keep it out of the 184.
There's a great job by Bradley Holly. He's moved up a little bit. And I think that moving, Cade, is just him trying to kind of intimidate maybe a little bit, right? Just trying to say, hey, let me see if I can knock you off the line a little bit. I'm not trying to wreck you. I'm not trying to bump you. Just trying to kind of, make you where I exist. But side by side out of turns 3 and 4, White's going to run off the corner, and they almost made contact, and both of them almost ended up out of this race with a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, iRacing and racing especially, very much a mental game. If you can get in the other guy's head, get in his mirror, get him to look somewhere, you see that move, the way that Holly throws it up on the straightaway, just trying to get him to think about something else. That's the move there. You saw top box where they got super close, tire-to-tire contact coming into turn 4. This time by all clean. 1 minute to go. It'll probably be about 3 laps. White now leading Holly. White's going to take the top lane, opens up the bottom for Holly here, opportunity, but he slams the door and throws a whole bunch of dirty air on the front nose of the Holly machine.
By the way, probably worth mentioning while this is a kind of a random set of car track combo, this is one of these drivers may have driven before, Cade, because this combination, as Bradley Holly got wildly loose there through the trioval, this combination is one that does exist in iRacing pretty commonly in the Dallara Dash category, the unofficial races. So this may be something these drivers have driven before and have some confidence. You see Elliott White on the bottom and leading. Here's what happened to Bradley Holly. Oh, he got the wall. That's what happened to him. And just kind of tagged it there. But now last time by, White flagging here from Barney Flagman in heat number 2. Elliott White takes it. He needs to hold off a charging Bradley Holly.
Yeah, and I think there is maybe just a little bit of damage, or at least hot tires on the 184 car, so I don't think he's going to have the opportunity to make the move. In fact, Holly going to come under fire from Kalen as they come to the stripe here, so the battle will really be for the second spot. Up front, Elliott White has locked it up. The 10 car going to win heat number 2, and we'll start the feature race on the outside of the front row.
White, Holly, and Kalen, your top 3. You see Barney Flagman waving that flag, letting us know the race has concluded and all cars come across the line. And Cade, why don't you take us through our unofficial results when they pop up on the screen here?
Yes, so there's your final results from heat number 2. Going to line up on the outside of the starting grid for the feature. Elliott White wins it by nearly a second over Bradley Holly. Mark Kalen the 3rd spot, Colton Lane P4, and James Morgan rounding out the top 5. Then it's Nathan Deering, Ted Lodwindick, Doug Evans in the 8th spot, Brandon Walter in the 9th position. We see Steve Loving with that huge crash finishes 10th, and then Richard Reagan Jr. also in that crash winds up 11th, and he will start shotgun on the field for the feature.
Okay, well, speaking of the feature, the night time has come around, the time has advanced, and it is time to look, speaking of that, at our starting grid for this 25-minute race. Here it is. Up on the front is Nathan Deering in the 1. He'll be next to Nicholas Acosta in P2. So the reason why this, by the way, we'll talk about in a second, there's an inversion in the field. James Morgan is 3rd. Matt Gagnon is 4th. P5 is Colton Lane. He's next to Steve Baker back in P6. P7 is the black and yellow Mark Kalen next to the white and orange of Thomas Sink. P9 and P10 is my last for me, Cade. This is Bradley Holly, and then Zachary Burnt, 9th and 10th.
Rolling off back in the 11th position, Heat 2 winner Elliott White starts next to Heat 1 winner Robert Barney. Back in 13th, it is Nicholas Godina and Ted Lowendick. They're in the 14th spot. Just behind them, back in row number 8, Matt Scherf in the 43 car starts next to Doug Evans in the 41. Back in 17th, Willie Brennan and Brandon Walter, both these guys a long way to go in the feature. And then just behind them, Nick Hunter and Steve Loving rounding out the top 20.
P21's Jeff Evans with Richard Reagan Jr. back in P22. And that is a look at your 22-car grid. Remember, as I said, when we started this grid, some of these drivers are up front, like this is Deering and Acosta at the front. The top 12 inverted from their qualifying order, Cade. So that means that Deering and Acosta, who just made it into the top 6 in their heats, are going to start up front. I should mention, by the way, Nicholas Acosta on the outside, a former multi-time iRacing Indy 500 winner. So if I, knowing that information, Cade, if I was Nathan Deering, I'd want to pull away fast and not let Acosta get clear here.
Yeah, I mean, and whenever some guy comes into a race with a big resume like that, they immediately get a target on their back. But I will say this, by virtue of starting this race in the 2nd position, Acosta did not run top 5 in his heat, so it's not necessarily about how good he is overall, it's about how good he is tonight. We're about to find out if Deering can hold him off. The green flag is in the air, and we are racing in the main event here at Charlotte.
25 minutes on the clock. And I think Nathan Deering has a jump start black flag. He's going to deal with that. But Acosta pulls away up front. Part of Tabit Rossi Esports. He's got Matt Gagnon on back. And look at that, there 3 wide down the back straight here. Almost 4 wide.
You can see Nathan Deering making sure to pin that car to the bottom.
Oh, big wreck.
Oh, there's a huge crash. 2 cars, 3 cars airborne, 1 in the fence, more piling in. They are still wrecking. I don't know if this one's going to caution or not. Yes.
Caution is out. That is basically half the field involved in that one wreck, Caden. There's cars upside down. There's cars wrecked. There's cars every which way. Well, but loose. It's a cool total movie. Well, that didn't take long.
I think you had a situation there. I mean, the situation that always causes wrecks is the speed differential, and you had one car on the bottom going just a little bit slower. That right there was actually some contact, and when you're 3 wide, several rows deep at the beginning of a run like this, just nowhere to go, especially on a track as narrow as Charlotte.
Nope, nowhere to go. Now remember, these drivers do have 2 fast repairs, so they do get a chance to get cleaned up and back in this race with a brand new car. They'll pull out quickly and get moving again. But Acosta got through, so did Matt Gagnon, Steve Baker, your top 3. So these guys were, I think they were probably concerned, Kate, with how big that wreck was. The odds they were going to make it back around and be safe was going to be okay. Watch from Matt Scher's point of view. Looks big wreck up ahead. He just sort of ends up in it, up on his roof. And that's the end of our camera. We'll have to bill Matt Scher for that.
We talked about Nicholas Acosta likely being a threat to win this race. Didn't take him long to find the lead. Didn't take Elliott White long to find the top 5. So we see another view of the crash there.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. Was there miscommunication maybe about the pit call there for the former race leader? It looked like he just kind of stomped the brakes in the middle of the corner. Was he maybe trying to get down pit road and missed it, you think? I don't know. If we can see it one more time, I don't know.
I mean, I definitely think live pit stops are something that you wouldn't put a whole lot of practice into. You've only got a 25-minute race. You know, there's no reason why you would typically have to do that. So I can imagine that.
Bottom here.
I think it just washes up a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he washed up, and that's, man, oh boy. Hope no one's in VR for that. All right, well, caution's out, but the lights on the pace car are already off, so we're going to go green this time by. There's Bradley Holly getting, and I think also Thomas Sink getting the wave around there, a couple others. So set up traditional IndyCar style, Cade. It's something different from our viewers from PSR. Oh, lights pace car are on. Sorry, they're still on. I thought they were off in that first view. This should be a single file start. So what that means, everyone's going to start, preferably, well, they can start whatever lane they want. You'll typically start top lane, and no one can pass here until you get to the start-finish line, assuming we have set up single file starts.
Yeah, and the one thing you got to be super careful about on your single file starts is that accordion effect, because the train of cars is going to be, you know, the entire length of the field. It's going to be 22 cars in a single row. If you get a little bit of a hiccup right about that 3rd or 4th spot, and it builds like a ripple through the entire field, by the time you get outside the top 10, it is a massive checkup that you have got to be aware of. Single file restarts, even though you're not as close quarters as you might be in a typical double wide restart, still can be very treacherous. So we'll see how these guys handle it here. Going to be Nicholas Acosta leading us to that, and he's going to have Matt Gagnon all over his gearbox when we go into turn 1.
See what's going to happen here. It looks like the lights are going to come off, and we're actually going to delay it one more time. So Cade, let's do that. I'm gonna do a live interview here. We're just gonna surprise someone. Let's grab the Tabula Rossi esports driver and Nicholas Acosta. I'm just gonna put him right in the broadcast booth and take my luck. So let's welcome in our race leader, Nicholas Acosta. So, well, you avoided the first lap wreck. That's the good news. Any positives from this race so far?
I'm at the front, but that's the positive. The longer I stay in here, the longer I'm most likely to stay in this race. So that's what we're going to take away.
So obviously the DW-12 is now an older model of IndyCar in the service, a car you've had success at in multiple ways. Does that make you more hopeful for this race?
Yeah, this is a car that I really enjoy driving. I really miss it in the end.
I believe you won an Indy 500 in this car?
I've won an Indy 500 in this car. I was a division champion in this car. So I do miss this car quite a bit. And being up here is probably the most comfortable I'll be.
All right. Well, we're going to put you back into the madness that is the voice room. Good luck, and maybe we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.
All right, that is Nicholas Acosta. We'll put him back up there with the herd, so to speak. All right, Cade. Takeaways from the first lap.
I mean, it's really hard to look at, half a corner or one corner and
Right.
kind of think that that's going to give us the trend for the race, but it does show that cold tires, right, are super impactful. I think that could have been part of what played into that crash there in turn 3, was guys just not having a lot of grip, not having a lot of understanding about how the car handles in just this much dirty air. We saw a little bit in the heat race, but being behind 5 cars is a lot different than being behind 10 or 15. And so it's a little bit different. We might get another quick crash here as drivers are still starting to feel it out. But yeah, it just shows you when you're restarting, the grip isn't what you expected. The track now also a lot cooler than it was in the heat races. The sun has gone down, and the track has changed a little bit. So that's another thing these drivers got to think about. Just so much going on, and guys are still figuring it out a little bit.
Yep. So what happened in those cautions is we're having a fun run here in the Winter Series. The admins have decided to put some of those cars back in the lead lap since this was a caution. Cautions are not guaranteed. They're at admin discretion only. So they thought, why not try and make it fair? Here comes that single file restart. And Cade, I'm a little surprised that Acosta's not hugging the wall.
I think what he could be looking to do here is just defend a little bit of the bottom right. Wants to make sure Gagnon isn't going to get a giant run down the straightaway. He's also trying to stay close to that safety car, but we'll see what he does when he hits the restart zone. Everybody single file, and we are going to restart here with just about 18 minutes to go at Charlotte. Acosta is away, followed by Gagnon and Baker.
We are back under green flag conditions. That took a bunch of time off the clock, by the way. So we are already a little bit in this room. It's a timed race. It's not laps. 25 minutes is all we get, whether it's under green or yellow or what have you. But down the back straight they go. Acosta right now under attack by Matt Gagnon on the bottom. 3 wide through turns 3 and 4.
I think Gagnon grabbed the apron just a little bit there, had to back way off, gave up not only the 2 spots to the top 2, but also brought Elliott White back into this lead. Baker and Acosta side by side for the first spot. Here comes Kalen on the bottom. We talked about his podium run in the heat. He's back up to the 4th position here as they are nearly 3 wide. Yes, 3 wide for the 2nd position going into turn 3.
Just going for it, aren't they? They're just every piece of track they can find. They're racing on currently. Acosta's lead yet a lap. In fact, his first lap under green, I do believe. And he'll come on around, and now their draft is moving because that's Mark Kalen up to P2.
Yeah, Kalen sneaks ahead on the bottom. He's got Lowendig just behind him. Now riding along board with, I believe this is Matt Gagnon, has slipped all the way back to the 6th position. Opened up a pretty big gap behind him. 7/10 the delta to P7 as he looks to the inside of Elliott White. Right now, I think that we've got a couple of green flag laps. It's time to find your groove, sit in line a little bit, and learn. Take some time away, and then make your move with probably 5 to go.
So, as we watch this camera view right here, Cade, a lot of times when we do our Wednesday night truck races, we talk about how you want to have pretty smooth hands, and you want those hands to be stable. And we'll come back to that in a second. Here's Brandon Walter. There's some contact right there through the grass. The groundskeeper is going to be upset, but all is going to stay good on the track. But watch those hands in this shot right here. Unlike our Truck Series counterparts, your hands will move every iota of this corner.
Yeah, when you're driving a stock car and tire preservation and having a smooth line, I mean, that's kind of your number one priority.
James Morgan wrecked in the back.
Right here. Sorry, yeah, we got a big wreck in the back. We're going to get a look at that here. Ooh.
That's the first hit. Now watch on the second. It's going to come the moment right about here. Oh, boy, that blue and Michigan Wolverine color car just crushed him. And Morgan is done. All right.
That was Colton Lane involved in that one. Still riding on board with Gagnon here. Looks to the inside. No progress since we first jumped on board with him. This is riding along Colton. And a huge hit for that 60 machine.
Well, back with Matt Gagnon. We are stuck in this hornet's nest. Matt Gagnon, by the way, is running in P6. So that's the outside view of it right there. You see him 2 wide, 3 abreast. Now they're going to try and make it work. Well, maybe they are. They're trying everything they can here. Cade, as they're touching.
3 wide.
They're 3 wide. That's a cost on the bottom.
Yeah, cost on the bottom. Kalen finds himself the meat in the sandwich with Lowendig making the move on the outside. Nearly contact there, but they keep it together into turn 1. And Acosta's finding out the same thing that we explored in that heat race. The bottom lane can prove to put up a pretty good defense here. I think later in the run, when the tires wear, it can get harder to keep that car pinned to the white line. But for now, Acosta finds himself in the much preferred position.
So let me walk you through the resume of the podium real quick. Nicholas Acosta, 2025 iRacing IndyCar Indy 500 split winner. Ted Lowendick, a Martinsville MX 500 special event winner on the iRacing service this year. Mark Kalin won the first ever PSR race and then went around and won the first ever PSR Winter Series race last week. So you have a star-studded podium up here, trying for the battle as we get out with more smoke in the back.
Yeah, that was Gagnon that just grabbed the wall a little bit. Luckily, everybody able to avoid and keep it straight, which means we still have a 6-car lead draft. Lowendick had a little bit of a move for the lead right there. He's going to look to the outside of Acosta, but I think this is more for clean air than really making a move for the lead.
Cade, I don't know how you do this. You call this stuff every week for the CIL, and this is exciting IndyCar action. Another car up in the wall up there. I'm not sure who that was from that view, but that was Elliott White, I'm being told in my ears. But Cade, this is exciting, fun, fast racing action. You call weekly at times for CIL. I don't know how you keep up with this.
Yeah, I mean, the Collegiate iRacing League, I guess I'll give it a little bit of a plug here. It's a league that I'm proud to be an admin of now. That's where I got my start broadcasting. And yeah, we run the IR18 just about every week, and there's plenty of oval races that we do in that series. As you see, the race for White is probably over. He has a fast one. Their leaders are wrecking. Kalin and Lowendick, huge in it. Acosta's in it as well. Baker sneaks through to the lead, and there is 4 or 5 cars piled up at the bottom of the turn.
That took out the podium we talked about a minute ago. That's going to put Steve Baker up to the pole here, now being chased down by Matt Gagnon. Caution is out for the second time at Charlotte. Watch what's going to happen here. This is the podium, and who's going to move where? Oh, that car's going to dig into the bottom. That's Mark Kalin dug up in Acosta into Lowendick, and they're all in the wall. And the Ketchman's car
on the apron there.
On around. Yeah, there's a
Sorry,
lot.
There was a car kind of hidden on the apron, a dark color machine that was, I think, exiting the pits. And when Kalin just barely dipped the left side tires below the blue line, he made contact with that car, and that's what sent him back up into the leaders. So we're going to
see if we can find that in a replay here and see what kind of call we can watch this.
Yep.
Oh, you're right. Oh, that's a great call, Cade. That's a great catch.
Thank you.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Man, but yeah, not sure exactly who that was coming off pit road, but you see the leaders letting the pace car catch back up, everybody getting restarted. So we're going to ride along. This is slow-mo alongside, this is what Mark Kalin was looking at. Acosta did not give him a lot of room to work. You can see there's not a car width. In fact, he kind of glitched through Acosta and unfortunately did not glitch through. That's the 26 machine. And
that 26, by the way, that is Robert Barney that you saw down there.
So it's up. This is going to be likely a tire strategy call here. We've put about 12 minutes, maybe 11 minutes of green flag racing on these tires. You want to come in, get some new Firehawks. We can see Nick Hunter has elected to stay out. This is a little bit of a strategy call to gain some track position. I think Hawley and Brennan are going to be on that same page. They're taking no tires under this caution. First car on fresh tires is going to be Steve Baker, and he will roll off in the 4th position.
Well, and there's a lot to talk about with these cars, Cade, as far as pitting and not pitting, and obviously the weight of the fuel in these cars will help determine how these cars behave as well. So if you're Nicholas Hunter, who I think pitted under the first caution on lap 6, he probably has less fuel in the car, therefore this car may behave differently. And then of course you have Holly and a couple others maybe who pitted for gas only and no tires, but we'll get back to those who did pit here. So you see the strategy calls on the bottom of your screen. Now, Cade, I'm going to ask you a question I don't know the answer to, and I feel embarrassed to ask. This is a fixed setup race. Can in the DW-12 specifically, can these drivers adjust weight jacker in a fixed setup?
I don't know. I know in the IR18, which is the newer Indy car, you can adjust the weight jacker on road courses, but not on ovals. Or yes, it's on ovals. You cannot adjust it on road courses. So I know the IR-18 have a weight jacker adjustment on the oval tracks, and I think it's something that the DW-12 would have to make the car behave in dirty air, because there is such in down. It is a feature.
Yeah.
But
all right.
even if it's a setup race, that should be an adjustment that the drivers have available.
Well, if we find time, maybe we can talk about that later and what it does. But lights on the pace car off this time. Let's reset for you. Bradley Holly did come down pit road there a second ago. So it's going to be Hunter, Baker, Gagnon, Godina, and Brandon Walter. Your top 5. Now, the problem for some of these drivers, by the way, who had those fast repairs, such as Nicholas Acosta, Ted Lowendick, and Mark Kalin and others, is not that they have the fast repairs, but they have to actually get towed on the pit road before they can use those fast repairs. So there's a bunch of drivers right now who are still working on getting towed over to pit road, who are going to miss this restart here in the moment. Happy here with us on Green Flag TV, Derrick Watson, Cade Corbin, with Dustin Ollis pushing the buttons and making us look and sound good down in the production booth. And Cade, well, for the third time tonight under the feature race, we're just about ready for our restart.
Yeah, it's the third restart of the day, but the first time we're seeing Nick Hunter up at the front of the field, so we'll see what he does in the restart zone. Pace car is on pit road. Hunter leading Baker and Gagnon, and with just under 9 minutes to go, we're racing again. Look at that huge jump from Brennan. Backed it up.
Brennan had a great jump. Cade, in the world of single file starts we talked about earlier, that's how you pull that off.
Yeah, you can pass on the outside on iRacing Restart. Sorry for jumping on you there. That would have been a legal move, but I think in the spirit of friendly competition, Brennan decided to back off and give it back here. And I mean, it's a fun league. It's a summer league. I don't see why you go for it, but I also don't see why you don't. As we're looking here, first car on the outside, Matt Gagnon. Baker has taken the lead from Hunter, and this could be a huge problem for Hunter. I think those old tires were going to be okay as long as he had clean air, but now that he is in dirty air, I think it's going to be huge handling issues for the 19.
Watch it, Gagnon threw it to the bottom. He's going to try to pass run up by Nick Hunter. Then the field's going to come on through. Brandon Walter, Steve Loving, Bradley Holly, and more trying to also get around Nick Hunter here. They're just about too wide in the corner. And Hunter, my concern right now is how long can those tires hold on, or does it cause some calamity on the track?
Checking hard in the back. Oh, that's a big group of cars.
That's 4 or 5 again, I think. Colton Lane was back there. Back up front right now. Good, sorry.
Yeah, Costa Lane and a couple of others. Doug Evans involved in that one as well. You can see there's the checkup. Big crash there. But the admins decide that it's not impacting the battle for the lead. And with under 7 minutes to go, let them race. Yeah,
I would suspect likely going to do. That's what's going to happen here, regardless of this moment. So right now it is Steve Baker up front, Brandon Walters up in P2, and then it's Elliott White and Matt Gagnon battling 3rd and 4th. And oh, that blue and white car's falling back a little bit. Got it checked up, got some contact, and we're going to keep it clean as we're 3 wide.
That was a big move to the outside for Elliott on Hunter. And now they're 3 wide. There's contact. Gagnon nearly around. Yes! Crashes into Hunter. They're crashing in the back as well. Couple of crashes simultaneously. Huge hit.
Everyone's off the track. Everyone's off the racing line. Wow, lots. Oh, calamity. Thomas Sink on the bottom right there, and he is battling right now, trying to keep, I think, Steve Loving behind him. Okay, this has been, I think, what a lot of us thought it was going to be. This has been a wreck fest.
You know, it has been, but sometimes that's part of the fun of the game. I mean, who really hasn't turned on a racing game on a console or something, you know, the old NASCAR Thunder, and turned the car around, driven backwards, head on into the field, and caused some chaos? I think we're seeing the same people, but just with a little bit higher end technology and a little bit more money put into it. Not that there's anything bad about these drivers, but it's a summer league, no consequences. Might as well go out, throw something out there, run 3 wide, and if you wreck, you get a cool moment for the highlight reel. So I can absolutely respect it, but right now Baker, Walter looking like they're going to run away with it. Lowendick leading the first real battle on track for 3rd.
And I guess if you're in Australia, it's a summer league, but for us right now in the States, it's a winter league. Snow's out across different parts of the States, having a good run here, as is Jeff Evans. And Evans trying to find his way around Thomas Sink and others here on the track. Right about 5 minutes to go here on the board. And Jeff Evans, Thomas Sink right now, they're both trying to run down Elliott White. That'd be for P4.
Yeah, and a big run to the bottom there for Evans. That puts Sink in the wall. But if you're looking at this group here, they're seeing 7, now 9 tenths to the leaders. I think they should get single file, maybe work together a little bit to catch those top 2. They have enough time left on the board to do it, but it's not going to happen if they get fighting and running side by side.
What I think they're hoping for, honestly, is that Baker and Walter begin to fight side by side. When they start doing that, those other group of cars likely will come in here pretty fast. These two will slow each other down, running side by side. If that does happen, there's a lap car of Nicholas Acosta up ahead. He is trying to keep his position here of only being 5 laps down. We'll see if he's able to accomplish that, or if Baker and Walter can pass him on by.
And Acosta was the dominant car early in this race, took a fast repair, so still a good car there. Is not going to go easily if he doesn't decide to just lay over for these leaders. I'd imagine that he will, but if he decides to put up any sort of fight, it could slow these top 2 down quite a bit and bring the rest of the pack back into the battle here. So, and that's nothing that Acosta would be doing wrong, just by the virtue of the dirty air coming off of the rear wing of that car. Could be enough to slow the leaders down. We'll see if maybe Walter wants to use the draft of that 816 car as a way to try to get around Steve Baker.
Yeah, wait and see what happens if that blue and white car of Walter can pass around the black and yellow of Steve Baker. Walter, of course, had a wild PSR year. At one point, his team put flip stickers on his truck. That's how often he was getting that truck airborne. So he's had good luck so far, I think, tonight, of keeping all 4 wheels of that Indy car on the ground.
Up to this point, Walter, not a guy that we've talked about a whole lot. Oh, he's in the wall. Sink is around in the back.
Still spinning. There you go. Pulled a 720, grabbed a gear, and kept moving. In Tony Hawk form, that would have scored a lot of points for the 720 kid.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say Steve Baker has used that to his advantage and opened up a huge lead. Meanwhile, Walter in danger of getting swallowed up by the pack here. Elliott White now up to the 3rd position, looking to the outside. He wants 2nd, and if they get side by side, it could be just about race over for Steve Baker to just run away with this one and grab himself the win.
Look up front, by the way. Nicholas Acosta is laps down, but he's having fun. He is racing right now with Steve Baker. He just says, hey, guys, I'm going to show you I can do it. He is still racing Steve Baker. And the last thing Baker wants is a side-by-side battle with Nicholas Acosta. But if you are White, Lowendick, Evans, Walter, or Loving, you would love for that battle to kick off.
Woo! That was Brandon Walter putting that left front tire right on the blue line and finding out that if you go any lower than the paint, there is just no grip. And the being off kilter wants to spin that car around. White grabs the wall grip a little bit less than 2 minutes to go, and that's going to give Lowendick a pretty big gap here for the 2nd position. Now Jeff Evans looking for a podium spot.
Jeff Evans just get on around as to the other cars, and I'm surprised. And they're starting to close the gap a little bit, it feels like, Cade. They're now single file. They're maybe tugging, or could soon tug a small bit of draft off of the back of Nicholas Acosta and maybe find their way to the front of this field. But there's a pass for 3rd possibly, or for 2nd, pardon me, of Elliott White and Ted Lowendick.
Yeah, I think as soon as you said they were single file, we saw that 10 car pull to the inside and try to make the move, and that might have done it. Just a minute and a half left to go in this race. I don't know if that's enough time, especially with Lowendick pulling the crossover move with the Costio between them and the leader. I don't know if it's possible now. Baker's still leading, and it's about a 2nd.
Yeah, there goes Elliott White on around again. He's going to try and get around Lowendick and clear. As it's right now, Jeff Evans just got passed by Steve Loving. Loving is clear. Car on the bottom, out of the way. That's a blue car. He'll stay down there. No impact on the race. Baker is pulling away, though. Last time I looked, over almost a 2nd on the field.
It's come down to about 8 tenths, but I still don't think there's enough time. We're looking at the battle for 2nd. White to the inside of Lowendick. They've put a pretty big gap back to the 27 of Steve Loving, so it looks like this is going to be the big battle. The lap car between Baker and White is not for position, but he could still impact this race. Baker going to come around, and I think this will be 2 laps to go right here for the race leader.
Wait and see. White flag, running the flagman, 1 lap to go as we come around here. Steve Baker. And watch, by the way, what Lowendick and White are doing. They're pulling the old IndyCar slingshot, Cade. They're not going to have enough time to make it work, but I'm pretty impressed by the technique. They are closing the gap. It's not enough time, but this time they're 3 and 4. Steve Baker's going to come on around. They're side by side for P2. Baker for the first time in the Winter Series, will claim a victory in the DW-12s at Charlotte. Mike comes home second, Lowendick third. Well, Cade, that was an exciting race. 25 minutes of action, some wrecking, some passing, some three wide, some old IndyCar slingshot techniques, and everything in between you could hope for.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to maybe talk to our race winners and have a look at the grid here. That's Steve Baker going to burn it down after some much deserved celebration there. Great race from him, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the final results here from the Premier Sim Racing League.
All right, let's start with your winner. And it's Steve Baker winning by 0.8 of a second over Elliott White. Ted Lowendick in third with Steve Loving and Jeff Evans running at your top 5. Then it's Walter, Holly, Sink, Morgan, and Gagnon in your top 10.
Back in the 11th spot, Matt Scherf in the 43 car. Then it was Mark Kalin, Nick Hunter 13th, Nicholas Acosta winds up 14th with Richard Reagan Jr. rounding out the top 15. Nicholas Gadina, not the day he wanted. Him, Zachary Brent, Willie Brennan just behind him. Robert Barney, Doug Evans rounding out the 20th.
Moving back to the last two cars. That's Nathan Deering and Colton Lane. Rounds out a 22 IndyCar field. And that's a look top to bottom at tonight's unofficial result. Well, with that said, we'll give our podium drivers a moment to get themselves collected and come over here, and we'll do some interviews quickly here to end our night, Cade, with the DW-12s at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I do want to remind you real quick, since we have a moment, if you want to watch other Green Flag TV action, there's plenty more still to come this week. In fact, tonight, we're going to take you over to the Beer League when we're done. The Beer League is running the Pro 2 Lights over at Snetterton, the circuit in England. Tomorrow night, Nolan Ripple and Justin Prince are doing the Dirt Nationals at Knoxville Speedway. That's a special event. Friday night, the Zero Torque Racing League will be at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Cup cars. Saturday night, the Sim Racing Association takes you up to Pocono Raceway with Nolan Ripple and Lucas Moody on the call. Pace, our brand new GR86 series. They will be there Sunday morning with Nolan Ripple and Howie Burrows. Or Sunday afternoon, I guess, East Coast time. Monday night, the High Tide Racing League. We'll find out everything is bigger in Texas. And then Tuesday night, the finale, the season finale for Mars, the Bennett Atlantic Racing Series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This right here, Cade, every night of the week up through next Wednesday with PSR. So the schedule is packed. Well, no one waiting for an interview. Cade, give me a second here. Any last thoughts on this race?
I mean, it was a lot of fun. It's certainly a really good combination. Of course, I mean, it was announced last minute, so not a lot of guys having time to practice it. And I think we saw that really just led to everybody throwing it out there, seeing what they could. 25 laps of going balls to the walls and having a good time, which is really what you want to see with these winter series. Plenty of highlight moments. I'm sure it was a lot of fun for the drivers. And it was certainly a lot of fun up here in the booth. So glad you guys could have me.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's start off our interviews tonight. We'll go backwards. We'll start with the driver who finished P3. At one point, he was 3 wide for the lead. That's Ted Lowendick. Teddy, that looked fun until it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm glad it doesn't count for anything because there's times where it's frustrating. But man, it was fun. Elliot and I were trying to work there to catch up to Steve, but he had some help from the lap car to kind of keep the gap, so we got into like a bubble and just couldn't break it there and at the end there. But yeah, it was fun. I need to talk to Mark. I don't know what he was doing, being a lap down, sending it onto the apron, but yeah.
So I know obviously you have a storied, road course history on iRacing. You've really taken to the ovals pretty well in the last year or so. What is your level of experience in Indy cars on iRacing?
So I used to race these almost religiously when I first got the sim, and then transitioned from that to the roadside. Once I used to call it a rhino horn. They put like a little deflector out in front, and you couldn't remove it. You can now, but it literally blocked the entire field of view of the car in front of you, so you just end up running into the back of them. But these are fun. It was a fixed setup tonight, so we couldn't play with the weight jacker, which would have definitely helped following people. But But yeah, I mean, this was fun. I think we've learned that we probably should turn damage off, and just have, since it's a fun little thing that we're doing in the winter, just turn the damage off. Let us throw cautions when we need to, and just have fun.
So I'm putting you on the spot, assuming that you don't know, and if you do know, please don't say that you know. If you could pick a free content, free car, free track for next week to do week 3 of PSR Winter Series, what would Ted Lowendick pick?
Is the MX-5 free?
It is free.
I would do something with the MX-5.
But Martinsville is not free. Just want to point that out. So I know
That's fair. Well, everybody in the league should have Martinsville. Just saying.
That's fair.
That would be fun. Kind of biased, but I think anything with the MX-5s will be cool. Those trucks we raced last week were really fun. I think anybody can have fun in those things anywhere. Maybe not Daytona. That might be too much, but
just be pegging the limiter the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see what the admins come up with. It's interesting because you don't find out until the morning of, and most of us work, so we can't really practice throughout the day. So it's and if you're practicing for this, you're trying too hard. So
I will say real quick, then this is not a confirmation. No one take it that way. To add to your idea, though, the MX-5s at the Daytona Road Course is some of the best real life racing that exists all year.
Oh yeah,
that'd be amazing. Well, Ted, listen, it's a pleasure watching you. God, sorry.
I'd be all aboard if we went MX-5s at Daytona Road Course.
Well, it's been a pleasure watching you race. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
I think my parents are watching. Out there, hello. Thank you for watching every week. You guys for putting on a broadcast and putting up with our shenanigans when we do this little series here. Everybody that wants to join the league, we do take this seriously when we're normally racing. So if you're out there like, oh god, these guys are crazy, don't think of that. So.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for your time. Congrats on P3, and we'll see you next week and whatever it is.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Can't wait.
All right, that is Ted Lowendick, and he finished P3. Now let's bring in Elliot White, who's going to catch up with Cade Corbin.
Hey, Elliot, welcome to the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, that was a lot of fun to watch. A lot of fun to call the race up here. Was it a lot of fun behind the wheel, or was it just stressful?
I think it was everything. I think it was fun. It was stressful. Yeah, I mean, I think as long as you could stay within like half a second of someone, just using the draft was fun.
So we've noted that this is a pretty common combination in the iRacing Dallara Dash series. Is that a series that you've run before, or were you coming into this completely blind with pretty much no experience?
I don't usually run IndyCar. I mean, I do it every so often, depending on if the track is fun. Like I'll do maybe Michigan, or I guess some of the drafting tracks. So in that sense, yeah, I do have a little bit of experience, but definitely haven't done the old Dallara in forever.
Well, it certainly looked like you knew what you were doing, ran really well in the heat races, and came just one position short in the feature. Do you think there was anything you could have done there at the end to get up and catch Steve?
I think Teddy and I would have needed a little bit of practice beforehand, figuring out how to slingshot, because we were trying to get it working, but I think we just didn't really understand the timings perfectly. And then I think we also got within kind of that second range of the guys ahead, where we were getting dirty air going into the corners, and at that point we just lost so much momentum, having to kind of lift for each other anyways, that the slingshot wasn't really working.
Well, Lowendick was just up here and said that if you practice, you tried a little bit too hard. So I think you guys got away with not getting out on track before this race went green. But we did ask him, and we wanted to ask you if you had your choice of a car track combo for some time in this winter series here. No guarantees, of course, but what would you pick?
Ooh. Oh wow, that's tough because I don't really remember which content is like the free content. I'm pretty sure it's all based off the free content. So
anything in the rookie series, if that helps you at all?
Probably the Mazda MX-5 if we're going for
That's
a road.
what Teddy said. Okay.
Yes. Ooh. I'm trying to think whether I want to go full like trolley and bring it to an oval or go a road course. I mean, honestly, Daytona Road might be fun, except without the... Oh wait, Daytona's not free. What's free?
A version of Daytona is free. A version of Daytona, and we can assume every party owns Daytona. That's got to be a good track.
True,
but yeah.
true. I'm trying to think of free content actually.
Let's see. Laguna Seca would be a road course that's free.
Yeah, Laguna Seca is always fun. That's true.
I'm failing others.
Maybe
Charlotte
even
Roval as well.
Charlotte
Roval.
Maybe like Summit Point.
Summit Point. Yep. Okayama,
Like
Tsukuba.
Yeah, anything where like we can get a little bit of the draft involved, so it's like a lot of mixy action.
Lime Rock. Lime Rock is good.
Yeah, true. Lime Rock would be good as well. Something like that. I think the MX-5 probably. I haven't driven it in a long time, but that's always fun.
Well, it could be a lot of fun. We'll see if we see the MX-5 at any point here in the Premier Sim Racing League. But for now, congrats on the second. We'll let you go back to the interview room, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you guys for the broadcast. Appreciate it.
All right, that is Elliott White. He came on P2. Now let's welcome in the man who won this race. He led the laps when needed to in that black and yellow machine. Steve Baker, you're a winner in the PSR Winter Series. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels good. I wish it would have been a regular series race, but always fun to come out and run with the group.
So before tonight, how much experience did you have with the IndyCar and iRacing?
Yeah, I mean mostly just the non-official races with the DW-12. I've run the current IndyCar several times, but not the old one.
All right. Obviously tonight we start with a little bit of calamity. We start with the 3-wide racing, or the 3-wide calamity and the chaos. Pardon me. You somehow avoided. How close were you to that 3-wide wreck, and what did it look like from your point of view?
It looked like a bunch of smoke and pieces flying in the air. And yeah, I think it was pretty close. I'm not sure. I just tried to go for where I thought there would be some space.
Fair enough. Well, we asked the others. I'm going to ask you as well. Of course, this Winter Series is all about free content.
I think we just lost Derrick. He was going to ask you, this series is all about free content. If you could have your choice of a track car combo that you would want to see this series go to, what you thinking about?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I have no clue. A free content? I don't even know what's free anymore. I've not been on the sim in so long. Maybe the Legends cars somewhere. Those are always a good amount of fun, especially on a road course.
Good choice for sure. Well, congratulations again on the win. No, it doesn't really count for a whole lot in the this course of a season, but still plenty of bragging rights, and you look really good out there. So congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
So that was our winner, Steve Baker, up here in the booth with us. We're going to go ahead and send you guys over to the Beer League, but we want to make sure that you guys know next week it'll be the same YouTube channel and the exact same time. Another track that will be announced the day of, so I have no idea where we're going to be and what car we're going to be using, but the racing going to be the exact same excitement and a very similar format to what we saw tonight. So if you want to see more of that, you're not going to want to miss it live here on the Green Flag TV channels. But we're going to go ahead and send you over to the Beer League. Some great racing happening over there. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Cade Corbin up here in the booth with Derrick Watson and Dustin Ollis. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.